top of the day. Got old Gillian up there. Say hi, Gil.
Hi.
Oh, yeah. Gillian. Anyway, we're out just doing something a little different. We were here a couple of episodes back, quite a while back now. It was almost when we started, wasn't it?
It was a while ago.
Yeah, but beautiful little day for it. And but yeah, we're doing something a little bit different. We're going to give you a bit of an update. So it's update time. Give you a bit of an update this episode and just pretty much tell you what's going on, because like everybody this year, it's been a bit of a mess. Plans have changed. A lot of things have changed, but so yeah, we're going to get cracking on this walk. It's our favourite little local walk, Daffodil Bay, and down near Reedy. And yeah, we're going to get cracking on this walk and we'll catch you through it.
So first things first is we're moving back to Australia. We came over here last year in September with the idea that we would sort of buy up here, settle down. It would be so easy to get home to Australia when we had to see family, but then COVID hit and obviously that hasn't happened. Our kids and us haven't seen their grandparents about 1.5 years now. With COVID, obviously there's no international travel. We don't know sort of if we're going to go back into lockdown at any point. So we've got a window at the moment where New Zealand is COVID free. Australia has started opening its borders back up to us, so we've got a little window. We're going to take it.
Only certain states and territories, I think. At the moment, New South Wales and the Northern Territory are open to New Zealand. So we need to get back to Queensland. Well, that's where we'd like to get back to, but we still have to follow the protocols and that for Australia. So at this stage, we'll be going to New South Wales for 2 weeks because we don't have to isolate. And then once the 2 weeks is up there, I believe we're free to cross the border. So,
as it stands at the moment.
Yes.
But who knows what's going to change in the next few weeks. So we'll be doing that. We're packing everything up at the moment. New Zealand has been amazing. It is definitely...
Yes. It is a shame to go.
We love it here. It is...
I don't think we're ready to leave.
No.
But like Jill said, we've got this window, and then if we don't take it, we stand the threat of not being able to get back. So
yeah,
it is a shame because we do love it here, and if things had gone differently, we most likely would have stayed.
Yeah,
I believe so.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't feel like it's our time to go. I feel like we still have a lot more to do and see here. And
so how we're getting back, because we've had a few issues with that too. It's not easy. So first part is we booked in with Jetstar to fly out of Queenstown because we're in the South Island. We're in the south of the south. We booked to fly from Queenstown to the Gold Coast. That's pretty much the same way we got to get Gold Coast to Queenstown. The best flight for us, easiest, cheapest, all of that. So we booked that in for around 1,500 one way for the 4 of us, with as much luggage as we possibly could. Then it was about 2 weeks before our original fly out date. I was just on the internet and I read that Jetstar had cancelled all Trans-Tasman flights. So I was like, oh, they haven't contacted me. So I'm reading it through the news, and I was like, oh. So I give them a call, and they said, oh, we have cancelled all Trans-Tasman flights. However, we haven't cancelled yours yet, which didn't make any sense to me. But that was just, you know, the protocols that they're going through. So they said they'd be in touch with what they did, example, refund, rebook, or a voucher, a credit voucher. So yeah, like 4 days before we were due to fly out, they emailed us through with a voucher for the 1,400 or 1,500 that we can't use anyway because there's no Trans-Tasman flights. So that just is sitting there, maybe for a weekend bender in Cairns, who knows. But yeah, so that's the first part. Yay. So the next part is rebooking with another airline that are actually flying the flights that they're allowing you to book, rather than putting a whole heap up and then canning them. But so we rebooked with Air New Zealand because the bubble that's sort of going on that we've heard is like Auckland to Sydney. That's the main one. So instead of flying from Christchurch or Queenstown, we thought, bugger it, we'll just fly from Auckland.
It seemed like the safest
Yeah,
option, the most reliable.
It'd be harder, but it'd be, you know, we're more likely to get home if we do that. So we rebooked from Auckland to Sydney. So there's still a fair bit of stuff that we need to get going from there. First of all, we're in Invercargill, which is right down the bottom of the South Island, and we need to get to the top of the North Island with all our belongings. So to fly from Invercargill or Queenstown, it was going to add another $1,500 or $1,600 to the airfare.
Just for that domestic flight. The
domestic flight for us to get up there was, yeah, it was going to be crazy. So I jumped on, had a look at the hire cars, and the hire car, a big Toyota full drive or the likes of, for a full week is like $500. So we booked that in. So that's the first part of our journey. So the first part of our trip back home will start next week when we start our drive from Invercargill to Auckland. So we're going to make the most of that because we think it's an awesome opportunity to see a bit more.
Yeah, we've never been in the North Island, so...
Yeah. Never been to the North Island. We love a road trip. So, yeah, we've got the car. We've booked the ferry to cross at Picton to Wellington. We're going to do it over about 6 nights, 6 days. And, yeah, so we're just going to get cruising. We're going to shoot an episode getting to Picton. Then we'll do another one crossing to the North Island. And then, yeah, see how we go from there. But then we fly out of Auckland to Sydney. Then we land in Sydney, and then that's when the tricky stuff starts to happen. So, another hire car. Mm-hmm. So this one's a little different because the hire car in Australia, I'm getting the exact same one that I've got here in New Zealand for $540 or something for a week. I'm hiring for 20 hours and the outlay is just over $1,000. There is a bond of $500 that I'll get back, but still the cost of the exact same car for 7 days is $30 cheaper than the cost of the exact same car for 20 hours in Australia. It's just shocking. It's bloody shocking.
It's crazy, eh?
Right. Oh. And that's not the only problem.
So our next problem, once we land in Sydney, is getting the hire car back to where we have to drop it off. So we've got it for, like Jeremy said, about 20 hours. We pick it up from Sydney Airport and we have to drop it back in Coolangatta Airport, which is half on the Queensland side, half on the New South Wales side.
But obviously, the address of it is Queensland. It's a Queensland airport, even though it's half and half.
Yeah. So...
And we can't cross the Queensland border.
For 14 days.
14 days.
So, obviously we're not going to keep a hire car for 14 days at $500 a day. So, the only option we have is to have a family member of Jeremy's drop it off to the airport for us. So once we get that all out of the way and we have dropped off the hire car, we'll be going to a family member's house on the northern New South Wales coast and spending 14 days there. There's worse places to isolate, isn't there?
Yeah,
Quarantine.
And the best part about it all is like the flight that we're on is a non-ISO flight.
Yeah.
We don't have to isolate in New South Wales. Before we weren't allowed in, I think it was like 36 or something regions within Sydney City, but now as of like this week, I think that's all changed too. Queensland's opened their borders up to the whole of New South Wales, so that's one less thing we have to worry about. Like, because originally we were going to get in the car and we weren't going to stop until we hit the Central Coast.
And you had to show receipts, and you had to show
so
to prove.
now we're just going to get that high car. We're still going to cruise straight out of Sydney. There's no need to stop at Sydney at 10 o'clock at night, so we're going to get out of there. And so 14 days in New South Wales. We don't have to isolate, which is
we just have to
good
quarantine
for us, but
in the state.
Still, I guess the rules and regs are there for a reason, but it sort of doesn't really make a lot of sense, because my family can come over from Queensland, see us and everything like that. They can return the car for us and whatnot, but we can't go there until the 14 days. But it's there for a reason. It's there to stop other things, I guess. But
they've got to do what they've got to do.
And I guess that's why Queensland's done a super good job of trying to maintain the virus. So.
Yeah. I mean, we are very lucky that we're in New Zealand, sorry.
Yeah.
As difficult and as stressful as this all seems, we're in the best possible country to try and get home to Australia.
Yeah, for sure.
There's people in
Europe, United States, all stuff like that, where
they're buying flights, getting cancelled, losing, you know. So
we're in a good spot. And
we're in a good spot. We just...
Yeah, we're not whinging too hard. We're just saying how... it's not difficult even. It's just more so like the things we've got to be careful about for it all to work.
So moving on from our journey of getting home and coming to how we got to having this channel. So during lockdown, obviously New Zealand went very strict. We went into level 4 lockdown, and you know, you couldn't leave your house except for a few reasons. The whole country went into it, and it worked really well. But we saw a lot of people that we knew, a lot of people around us losing jobs, unable to pay mortgages, and you know, I mean, the banks did what they could to drop it, but still, if you had a mortgage during lockdown,
it's just a lot of stress on people and
uncertainty, and like everyone struggled. We struggled enough, and we only paid rent. We didn't have a mortgage,
and we were looked after big time.
We're renting a family member's house, so it was a lot easier for us.
We were super looked after. We would have been stuffed without them. So it
just changed our outlook on everything, and we sort of thought, do we really want to buy a house? Do we want that mortgage and that commitment? You know, and it kind of led us to very different lifestyle. We've decided...
My outlook has always been, and it has been for a long time, is that, you know, there's no right and wrong way of how to live your life. As long as you're happy. If you're happy, then it's sweet. You don't need the highest paying job. You don't need a high office job. You know, or if you do, then you do. But if you're happy to just get by on doing what you enjoy, then that's just as important. As long as you're happy and you can survive. That's not the wrong way or the right way, and neither's having all the money in the world. You know, I'm sure you can enjoy that too.
I mean,
I know I would, but
we're sort of raised on the notion that you need to get a good job, buy a house, have a mortgage, all that sort of thing, get married, have kids. But we sort of... It's just not for us. I mean, as much as we'd love to have our own place and do it up and renovate it and all that sort of stuff, it's not something that we want to do now. So during lockdown...
Well, doing the closest thing that we could possibly do to that, renovating a house. Maybe
in the future we'd like that, but at the moment it just doesn't feel right for us. So during lockdown we sort of looked into what other ways can you do it, what can
we do to make ourselves happy and still...
And not have to commit to doing, sort of a 9 to 5, 40-hour a week, half your money going on.
As you know, I do music anyway, so my living is making music. And a cool thing about that is I can do it on the road, or I could before COVID came along. But it's starting to open back up in Australia, the state by state, it's different rules and whatnot. But I can make a living on the road, so that's one thing that really we've been talking about over the last few months, and excited to sort of scratch the surface and see what we can do.
So we were trying to find something that would suit us that wasn't sort of a mainstream way of life, and we looked into everything. We spent so long looking at tiny houses and how to build them, and the different options, shipping container houses, all that sort of thing. And then we stumbled across people that live in a bus or live in a caravan or, you know, just travel full time.
Yeah.
And at first we thought, there's no way. Like, there's, you know, the kids need school, you know, it's just not possible. But then we thought, you know what? Why not? You know, you live once.
Life's too short.
Exactly. We especially with COVID sort of making us realise we don't know what's around the corner.
So, I guess the main point of this whole video is that whilst we're in lockdown, months and months ago, we made this decision to move back to Australia back then, and we've just been working on it for the last 4 months, I guess, 5 months. Whilst we're in lockdown, I went ahead and I bought a bus from Manly, and a good friend of mine went down from southeast Queensland, picked the bus up, followed all the rules and regs for all of that. We were all above board with that. He went down to Manly. Oh, well, 2 of my mates went down to Manly, picked up the bus for us and drove it back to Jilly's parents' place. It's been sitting there for probably half a year now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And we're pretty itchy to get back there and start working on it. So the whole plan is to convert the bus. It's a 2004 Mitsubishi Rosa, I believe, if I do recall.
It's one of those sort of white RSL buses.
RSL. You know, yeah, people mover, 25-seater or something like that. So that's what we got. The plan is to convert it into a tiny home on wheels, a family tiny home on wheels. The kids are pretty bloody keen, and so are we. We're super keen to see. So once we're back in Australia, we're going to be doing the odd episode where we still get out and do things, because that's what we love to do.
Yeah.
So we're still going to get out. We're still going to do some camping. Still going to go and see some beautiful places in southeast Queensland.
Still lots of fishing.
Stacks fishing. I'm missing mud crabbing. So the first thing I do once I get back and I'm allowed back into Queensland, I'll be going mud crabbing. So keep an eye out. So yes, then the main thing will be this bus conversion. So we'll be doing as much as we can DIY in the bus conversion. I'm pretty unco on the tools. Jilly is probably pretty unco on the tools.
Come on.
She's a pro. She's actually a qualified builder, if you didn't pick up.
I'm a welder. I'm a builder.
As you can tell by her descriptions, she's definitely covered. But yes, anyway, it's going to be pretty creative. So yeah, that's it. We bought a bus. We bought a bus.
We bought a bus.
Guys, if you're new to the channel and you're keen on checking out the bus build and our journey home through COVID-19, subscribe, hit the subscribe button down below, like the vids, and chat, leave a comment. We love getting back to everyone, explaining what's going on in depth, any of that sort of stuff. We've got social medias, Instagram, Facebook, all of that, so join us on that. And sweet, it's going to be awesome. So definitely bus build, it's going to be sweet. I just done that, which Jill hates, and I don't even know why I do it, because I don't do it. I'm just like, yeah, mate.
It as a joke and it stuck.
Yeah, and I'm trying to eradicate it from my videos, mate. So, all right, cut it out. So anyway, subscribe. It's that easy. Is it a red button?
It's red, yeah.
Is it? I don't even, oh, it might just be red writing. Underneath this video, to your right hand side, hit subscribe. Cheers. That is all for this little walkie. So we'll leave you to it. Hopefully that explained enough for you.
If you have any questions, just reach out, you know.
Drop them below in the comments. But yeah, other than that, we'll leave you to it. And we'll see you next week. We're leaving. Next week, next episode is the start of our adventure from the south to the north. We'll see you on the road.
Bye. See
Ciao.
you then.